Thanks again for tuning into yet another video of Infamous, coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So California is getting absolutely nuts, guys. Absolutely nuts. Another price increase on the fuel, gas, everything's becoming unattainable here in California. It is crazy. Look at these guys right here. This is what I'm talking about. These guys right here do not have registration on those vehicles. They don't even have insurance. 3 folks right there. And I'm not, I'm not saying it to be a Karen and stuff like that, but I'm saying it because I'm a law-abiding citizen and I gotta pay for my tax so I can ride my bike. Those guys, they're riding around without tax, without insurance, without a license, and they're not paying anything. Me, as a law-abiding citizen and an American, I gotta pay to keep this thing on the road. $300 per year. $300 per year per bike. I have 2 bikes, so I'm paying $600 just to keep my 2 bikes registered in California. All right. I also have an automobile, of course. I'm not sure. I think I'm paying $200 for that one because it's an 06. It's a lot older, but I'm paying $200. So in total, just to keep my vehicles registered, I'm paying about $800 a year, which is expensive, right? It is, like I said, everything in California is absolutely nuts. $800 plus my insurance, and I think part of my insurance going up over the last 2 years is because of people like that don't have registration and they don't have insurance. So because of those guys, our prices are going up, and yet police don't do anything about it. It's absolutely nuts. And then on top of that, the cost of fuel is not going up. I believe on January 1st, the cost of fuel is going up by another 85 cents here in California. More fees, more taxes. California. They want us, I really believe they just want us on EV or on the public transportation system. They don't want us owning vehicles anymore. And quite honestly, there is no real incentive to keep my bikes and to drive. I was just thinking about it because, like I said, I'm paying $800 for tags, California. I'm paying how much am I paying for the insurance on all the vehicles? I'm paying about $640, $240. I'm paying about $900. Yeah, I'm paying about $900 per year for the insurance. So total, I'm paying about $2,000 just so I can have the freedom of transportation. I was just thinking to myself, like, man, if I would just sell the bikes, sell my vehicle, and just buy a EV bike. These EV bikes can do about 45 to 55 miles per hour. I can just get an EV bike and just ride that thing to work. And I'm saving myself $2,000 off of insurance and off of course, the tags. It's just absolutely nuts. And like I said, on top of that, you're also saving money on fuel. Man. And I could go on this topic for hours. This is absolutely nuts. And then you have those folks, those illegals that don't pay registration or insurance or anything like that. Now, hey, like I said, I'm not trying to be a Karen about it. I hate the government. I hate that we have to pay these crazy fees and these outrageous prices. I get it, but I just, like I said, part of the reason why our costs are going up is because of that reason, because of the crime, the accidents, the big city. Like I said, I called Geico when they doubled my rate. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Why am I paying double this year? And it was just that. I live in the big city. The crime rate is high, and they said that the theft has been skyrocketing, and I'm guessing, you know, part of it has to do with folks that are driving around without insurance. Of course, they get into an accident, so the insurance company has to pay for the full amount. They don't have anybody to kind of go after, and those folks don't have ID. They don't have anything. I think it's just nuts that that California is allowing it, and they're allowing it. The cops aren't going after them. You have the $800, $900 what is it, the misdemeanor. You could steal up to $900 and not get thrown into, you know, not get thrown into jail. Anyways, I guess I'm just kind of ranting and letting you guys know the cost of living out here is crazy. It's predicted, or people are saying that Newsom's going to be running for president in 2028. So if you're considering voting for the guy, you guys got to know what to expect. All right, they want to Californiaize, or they want to California the United States with the restrictions, car emissions, you know, all of these things. They want to make that the norm, of course, and we've been seeing it slowly but surely. Of course, you see EPA going after manufacturers, aftermarket, performance products, stuff like that. We've been seeing it. It's nothing new, and we're slowly getting there. You know, you guys see Euro 5. You see the emissions in Europe. You guys saw what's going on with nitrogen and the farmers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening. I mean, and of course, on top of that, you also have California banning petrol vehicles, or fossil fuel vehicles, whatever you want to call them, by 2035. We'll see what happens. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen, but it is getting absolutely out of control here in California. And for the most part, what people don't understand, because I mean, there's going to be people out there suggesting, well, just buy an EV. You know how much it costs to get an EV vehicle? For a Model 3, with the costs and the rates and everything like that, you're looking at about $700, $800 per month. Someone that's living on minimum wage, or someone that's living, you know, just trying to get by, having that car payment. Guys, rent out here is $2,700 rent right now. Average $2,700 for a one-bedroom apartment. $2,700. And if you're owning a vehicle, that's going to cost you, or an EV, that's going to cost you an extra $800 to $900. I had somebody in the comments just mentioned, oh, well, just lease it. You know, it's like $300 something a month to lease. That's the issue. That's the problem. You'll never own anything. You'll never own anything. You'll always have that payment for the rest of your life, because you're going to be leasing it for the rest of your life. You'll never own it. See, as far as owning, you know, the vehicles and stuff like that, yes, you're paying, what's it called, $800. Of course, you're paying $800 for at least 5 years, right? Now you own it. After that, you own the vehicle. Now you could cut down on the cost of insurance. Instead of having full coverage, you could get liability, stuff like that. You'll cut down on your costs long term. If you're always leasing the vehicle, then you'll always have that high payment, or that payment plus your insurance has to be, you know, full coverage, because you don't own the vehicle, you're leasing it. So you'll always have that payment. $400 for the rest of your life doesn't make sense to me, guys. But this newer generation, that's the norm. Subscriptions. You have the loot boxes, or whatever you call them. You also have you know, Spotify. You have Disney Plus. You have Netflix. All of these subscriptions. It's the norm. You'll never own anything, and you'll be happy. It is what it is. I guess this is a new way of living. I think it's absolutely stupid for me to be paying taxes with the Inflation Reduction Act. I'm paying for the infrastructure. I don't even drive an EV. That's what gets me so pissed. I'm paying for the infrastructure for EVs. I don't plan on owning an EV anytime soon. I can't even afford it. Why am I paying for the infrastructure? If the corporations are serious about EV, billionaire corporations, of course, how come the corporations are not setting up their own infrastructure? Elon Musk did it. If you want an EV and you're wondering about infrastructure, or if you know, depending on where you live, of course, if you're worried about infrastructure, then buy a Tesla. Easy. You buy a Tesla, you have the supercharger stations everywhere in the United States. You're set up. Why would you buy a Chevrolet, Nissan, Ford, or whatever? Why would you buy one of those vehicles and then complain about the infrastructure? And on top of that, $1 trillion later, they haven't even set, or how many stations have they set up? Something like 3 or 4. The government, they're terrible. All right. So I don't know. This is just one of those videos. The cost of living out here is getting out of control. Failed state, and then on top of that, the price of fuel is going up by 65 or 85% cents. Sorry, not percent. 65 to 85 cents. And then on top of that, they still want these other things. They want the mile tax, which is 30 cents per mile. They also want a, what was it again? Low emissions area, meaning if you have a vehicle that's not low emissions, then you're paying a fee to drive inside these specific areas. And they're already doing it in New York. They're already doing it in New York. And these are people that are living paycheck to paycheck that can't even afford to buy an EV. They have to get to work. They're paying, I believe, $14 or $15 to get into these areas, and then they have to pay another $15 to get out of these areas. Oh, I don't know how much it is. But I know they also have tolls, you know, to get into these areas. And the funny thing is, the people that are voting for these policies are the people that are going to get affected by these policies. All right? People that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, they can actually afford to live in the areas, in these big cities. They can afford to live there. People that are making $50, $60, $70, $80,000, they can't afford to live in these cities. So they commute. They buy a house out in New Jersey or here. They buy a house, Los Baños, Modesto, Stanislaus County. They have to commute. So now they're going to be paying 30 cents per mile. Absolutely nuts. So they're going to be paying that. And then on top of that, of course, you know, they're driving. They're putting they're putting about 200 miles per day on their vehicles. That's the cost of gas. That's what people I don't understand why people keep on voting for these policies. You guys are the ones that are commuting. You guys are the ones that are going to be affected by these laws. Nuts. And then, of course, all the rich folks making $200,000 a year, they're not getting affected by these laws. They're the ones that are driving around in the cyber trucks. They're the ones that are driving around on what's the other one, that the Bronco or the Hummer? What is it? Oh, the $100 something thousand EVs, and then they're getting the tax credits on these EVs, and I'm paying for it. Anyways, thanks for watching yet another video. Thanks for listening on my rant, I guess. That's how much it costs to keep motorcycles here in California, especially a one that you're still, you know, paying for. It's still financed. That's why people are not getting into this. That's why it's so expensive. That's why you see the price or the value of Harleys and motorcycles are dropping, because nobody can afford it. The tags are too expensive. Insurance is too expensive. You're better off just getting an EV hoverboard or whatever you call it, and just, you know, ride that. So anyways, life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.